earlier, and there was a bunch of tents and vagrants. And even back here right now, as you can see, there's like some tents back here and some homeless situation. This is downtown Anchorage. Over there, I was walking around. There's actually a person sleeping there. So something I've been covering for a long time is our just really horrible vagrancy, homelessness problem here in Anchorage. And last week, I tweeted, half joking, I really hope Mayor LaFrance can clean up the city for all the foreigners, the Russians, the press, all the people. I heard 400 members of the media are here in Anchorage. There's a big setup at the Denina Center on the third floor. Hundreds of chairs and many tables, and then outside there's on the balcony there's a bunch of press broadcasting, including Tom Yamas. NBC Nightly News tonight was from the Denina Center in Anchorage, Alaska. So it's a historic summit. There's a lot going on. I kind of compare this in some ways today to Juneau, last day of session, last couple of days. A lot going on, a lot of activity, a lot of bills getting passed, a lot of shit happening, but it's all confined to a building. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of information to get out. But here it's not just a building, it's the whole Anchorage. It's Jay Bear, it's Ted Stevens International Airport, it's Yen's restaurant with Dmitry Peskov, the Russian Kremlin spokesperson. It's it's all over town. There's been Russian media has been going kind of wild. I've been watching some of that, and friends in Russia have been sending me people who used to live here actually, and Anchorage now living in Russia, sending screenshots of people that are being interviewed on the street. There's also other media, all kinds of foreign media here from all over the world. I mean, this to me, I've been here 21 years in Alaska. This is by far the most monumental, pivotal meeting, international meeting. Xi was here in 2017 with Bill Walker, but Trump wasn't here. Trump and Xi met later in China. That kind of that flamed out the gas line, but that was pretty big. I mean, there was a lot of his security were here. They went down to the Seward Highway. They had a big motorcade. They were at the Captain Cook. Big, but not nearly as monumental or not nearly as big as this Putin-Trump summit tomorrow. Obama was here in 2015. He famously dined at Campbell Lake at the home of Alice Rogoff, the ex-wife of billionaire David Rubenstein, and there was Secret Service going around. And my friend Austin Baird, who was a reporter then, famously he was borrowing somebody's boat and had like a zodiac of Secret Service and commandos approach him. So we've had meetings here, and we are at the historic kind of crossroads. We border. I mean, the Diomede Islands are a few miles between Russia and America. We share the big, the water border. It's interesting. It's the flight from Moscow to Anchorage is about the same, from a little bit longer than DC to Anchorage. Now, Putin, I thought was going to be coming direct Moscow to Anchorage, but some Russian media reported that he's actually in Magadan right now, which is in the Russian Far East. Magadan, interestingly enough, is a sister city of Anchorage, which was put on hold after the Russia invaded Ukraine. So I used to be on that commission. I was chair. I was against that, but they did suspend the sister city relationship with Magadan. Juneau has Vladivostok, and I believe Fairbanks has Irkutsk. So the Russian connection, religious, cultural, historical. The Russians came here in the late 1700s. There was a Russian-American company. Obviously, there's been some tension about that in the history books with indigenous Alaskans. But even today, a lot of indigenous Alaskans, a lot of Native Alaskans still, practice Russian Orthodoxy. And if you go to, Sitka, if you go to Aleutians, if you go to parts of Alaska, you'll see Russian Orthodox churches. So there's we used to have direct flights from Anchorage to Kamchatka, Petropavlovsk-Kamchatka, and then to Khabarovsk. All that's on, after the Russian invasion was put on hold. So there's a lot of cultural, historical, economic. There used to be the Russian American Center at the University of Alaska, which closed years ago, but there used to be every year 20 or 30 Russians from the Far Eastern State University in Khabarovsk come here to study. Many of those people still live here. They got married, they got green cards, they became citizens, some left and other parts of the country, some went back to Russia, but there's a lot of connections. So this is definitely, this was the front line of the Cold War. I just got back from ADAC, which was a base, it was naval base, which was closed in 1997, but that was a pivotal kind of frontline operation for naval power. There was nuclear warheads stored there. They closed in 97 after the Soviet Union collapsed. So there's been talk of reopening the base on ADAC. Senator Dan Sullivan, has been really pushing that. He's actually, I hear, going out there next week, possibly with Pete Hegseth. When I was out there, I saw a destroyer, a big naval destroyer. There's been some chatter about a carrier strike group, the Lincoln or the Carl Vinson strike group, going up there for this visit of Sullivan and maybe Pete Hegseth. So the location of Anchorage is just, it's perfect. And for this kind of meeting and this kind of summit. And earlier, you guys want to pull up the? We did have a protest earlier. I went to. It was pretty big. I mean, this is on the Seward Highway near the Midtown Mall, old Sears Mall, and it was a couple hours ago. Behind me, if you look at the video, there's a whole bunch of other people. I just took a quick little video here, but lots of folks. I wish I had a big map. I'd ask them to please point out Ukraine on the map, and I'm guessing not many would be able to do that. But there is a big protest here. And this is probably part of the reason I think Elmendorf makes a lot of sense for security reasons. I do wonder, there's been some people I've spoken to in the military world about security and do they really want the Russians on the base and landing on the base and having a bunch of Russians on the base? So I think Putin's probably going to land on the base in his Aleutian, but there's a chance, I think, maybe that he lands on International. That's where Ted Stevens International, that's where some of the other Aleutian official planes that came in earlier landed. So, but the other thing about Elmendorf, even if he lands at Ted Stevens and he's not going to drive, he'll probably fly over there, or I guess more likely he'll just land at Elmendorf. There's not going to be any protesters on Elmendorf. I mean, maybe they'll be at the gate, but he's not going to see that. If it was in Anchorage, if it was at the Captain Cook, or there was some chatter about Alyeska, a couple days ago, there was a Marine white top helicopter flying over the hillside. I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, I think the press is all teed up, so it seems like it's locked in, but who knows if there's a secondary plan to maybe fly to Alyeska. I don't know this, but I would not be surprised if there's some kind of element of bait and switch going on, or for something else to happen later. Stephen, Casey, go ahead and pull up the landmine Twitter. I just want to show you guys some stuff I've been kind of going through today, covering. This was Putin earlier talking to a bunch of his. There's Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister. You can go to landmine Twitter and watch that. He's talking about the crisis and the trip. This was a plane that landed earlier in Juneau. I got a tip from a military person. This is official U.S. same kind of paint pattern as Air Force One, official U.S. aircraft, government aircraft. It's not Air Force One, obviously. It's not a 747, but I hear that's full of military personnel. That's in Juneau. So I don't know if they want to keep people spread out, not everybody, all the eggs in one basket, but that landed at Juneau a couple hours ago. Now here's Dmitry Peskov. This is Russia's Kremlin spokesperson. Now this guy's got sanctions. This guy is sanctioned. I kind of looked it up a little bit. There's a little bit of information that kind of shows that suggests that Trump lifted the sanctions temporarily. A lot of the sanctions that exist are economic, but then there's individuals have sanctions. Some of the oligarchs, this guy like Peskov. So it sounds like Trump just kind of lifted those babies for a couple days. And when we go down here, I'm going to show you guys an airplane, a private Russian plane that might be coming. I do have a theory about that. Let's keep going down. Here's again Peskov, Russian spokesperson, Kremlin spokesperson. Now this is a little bit ago, an hour ago. This is J-Brick. Check out those F-35s. I'm going to go down in a little bit. I'll show you some B-2s. I mean, it's a big show of force. I mean, this is here we go. We got Kamil Dmitriev. This guy's the head of the kind of the Russian sovereign fund. Go back there, showing an RT. Head back. There you go. Head back. Go up. Go. What is that? Swifties or track your. Go to the top of the. Just hit home. There you go. Yeah. Click on the landmine logo there. On the right, just click on that logo. There you go. No. Let me give me to show you. I'm gonna. There you go. There you go. Head back down. So this is a bunch of F-35s. There's this guy Dmitriev, the head of the Russian sovereign fund. Keep going down there. Don't click on anything. It'll go back. This is a question I had. Will Putin's plane be escorted to the border and by his Sukhoi, Su-35s, and then they turn around and he gets picked up by our F-35s or F-22s? Will these Sukhoi, will these babies get refueled? Will they accompany Putin all the way to Anchorage? Will they land here, or will our fighters intercept and then escort? Because he's definitely getting escorted to Anchorage, whether it's by his planes or his fighters or our fighters. But that's an interesting question about. Are these Sukhoi Su-35 fighters going to be accompanying the plane, or are our people, our fighters going to pick it up and take the escort from the border? What was this? This was a Russian newscast earlier from the airport. Keep going. We on the flight tracker, there's a Canadian military cargo plane in Anchorage, so the Canadians are coming to the party. I'm not sure what they're doing here, but they're here. This is the list of, we talked about the delegates, but we got, you don't got to worry about that. It's Trump, it's Vance, it's Rubio, the Secretary of State, it's Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, and it's Witkoff, Steve Witkoff, the envoy to Ukraine. And then we got Putin, Lavrov, Ushakov on the bottom there. Go ahead and pull that up. One of the guys, I forget his name, he's a defense minister. But that, I mean, this is high level. This is the biggest kind of convergence of leaders of especially world main power, you know, the nuclear power world leaders meeting in Anchorage. This was some news media, Russian news media showing Putin's motorcade on the way to the airport in Moscow earlier. Must have been about probably 20 hours ago. Here's another government plane. We got a tracker below that. You can see the flight tracker. That was about 3 hours away. Then later, someone sent me a picture of that. So, by the way, if you're seeing anything, Russians, Americans, foreign, or whatever, please text me, send an email, send a message to Landmine, Twitter, or Facebook. I can only be in so many places at once. I've been all over town today working on this story. Also, go ahead and go back to the camera real quick there, Stephen or Casey. Shameless plug. I was also working on today's Alaska Political Report edition. If you don't subscribe to the Alaska Political Report, you should. It's great information. Stuff about state government you won't get anywhere else. This is my other business that I run with a guy named Neil Steininger, and there's Allison Hovanek works with us as well. So there's three of us, and we cover everything in state government, from the budget to the lobbyists. I feel like I'm doing a live read here for my own business, which I am. But get a hold of me if you don't subscribe to the Alaska Political Report, because it's a great tool and it's a lot of good information. Let's go back to the Twitter. This is a Russian news coverage I was watching. This is where I learned actually that there's several Soviet airmen, pilots buried at Fort Richardson Cemetery that died during Lend-Lease in World War II. And Ushakov, one of Putin's aides, said that they are going to be taking a delegation. I don't know if Putin's going there or not, but they are taking a delegation of Russians to go visit the graves of these Soviet pilots who were. That's another connection to Alaska. Lend-Lease, all the aircraft, the thousands of aircraft that passed through America, through Canada on the kind of the I forget the name of the highway. It was kind of the Lend-Lease Airway, the Alaskan Siberian Airway route. They landed in Fairbanks, and then these babies got flown by Soviet pilots to Russia. That was Lend-Lease. So another connection. We were both fighting the Nazis, the Russians, the Soviets, and us. So let's go back to the. This is another flight tracker. This was the plane I told you about that we think maybe Rubio, who knows, but that was a U.S. government official plane. Then there's been some reporting that Trump has said, and he said, I think 25% chance, but if this goes well, maybe they just hang out for a couple days, it sounds like, and all stay, because it'd be hard to leave and come back and think of all the fuel and the logistics. So if that's the case and it goes well, they want to bring in Zelensky possibly. And I just, kind of joked, are they going to go fishing? Are they going to go on a sightseeing tour if things go well? I also feel like for this level of meeting, for these kind of people, for Trump, Putin, Vance, Lavrov, Bessent, Rubio, I'd almost be shocked if there wasn't some kind of at least framework, some kind of beginnings or almost deal worked out. Because to come here with all these people, all this anticipation, cold, and just it collapses and everybody goes home with nothing. I mean, that's bad for everybody. So with this level of delegation on both sides and this kind of scrutiny right now from the world on Anchorage, I'd really be shocked if at least some basic framework of some kind of deal hasn't been already worked out. Let's keep going. Little meme I did, funny meme, it's summertime, but everybody's kind of talking about this thing. It's in 21 years of me living here, this has been by far the most activity, ever. This is some video, Russian media showing that Putin was in Magadan, which is in the Russian Far East, one of Anchorage's sister cities, which was suspended by the commission, which I used to be on. I was chair of, actually, years ago. I was not on the commission when they suspended that. Here's a B-2. There's a B-2, two B-2s landed at Elmendorf earlier. Someone said they may have been here for a while. I don't know. I've never seen a B-2 flying over Anchorage, but between these and the F-35s and everything else, I mean, we are. It's a full show of force. I mean, I think I would call it big dicking. I mean, there is like, if Putin does land at Elmendorf, he's going to see a full kind of display of American military power between these B-2s and these F-35s and these cargo, these C-17s. I mean, it's wild. Let's keep going, guys. Here's one of the C-17s from Camp David. Again, this is probably, motorcade stuff, advance, team, all equipment, weapons, all that. So it's a big plane. Here's a picture of the B-2 earlier. This is, I said I got, now there's 3 planes. Go ahead and click on the plane. Now this is a Russian Special Flight Squadron Ilyushin quadrojet. That landed earlier. Go over. Another Special Flight Squadron Ilyushin that landed. Now some of these were saying Elmendorf, and then they landed at Ted Stevens. So there's been kind of a little bait and switch there on where they're going to land. Now this one is interesting. This is not a special flight, designation. Go back to that one, please. That one. Yeah. This now a friend has a theory that maybe because if all these sanctions in fact are lifted on all these Russians for 48 hours, 72 hours, maybe that's a Russian oligarch who's coming to Anchorage to kind of party, be here, buy some stuff, hang out, maybe get some dollar. Who knows? But that is not, at least it does not have the same. Go back one, Stephen. They're showing Special Flight Squadron. Everything else, and the one that landed last night or this morning early, there's 3 Ilyushins, I believe, that have landed so far. Russian Ilyushin, large commercial airliners. And this other one, the private jet is not saying that. So I don't know if that's some oligarch who's coming to hang out. This was earlier outside the Boniface Gate. There was pretty good number of press there, different networks doing that. And then over here, I was there earlier. I did get a press credential for this place. I was denied a press credential for the Elmendorf. They said it was basically kind of too full. And what's the email say? We should show this email. I can't believe this. Not very happy about this. It says, due to limited space, we're unable to accommodate a request for media credentials at Joint Base Elmendorf Richardson in Anchorage, Alaska. This is from the White House Press Advance team. So not the end of the world, because if you do go, I think you have to be there at 5 or 6 in the morning, and then you're going to be there all day and not be able to leave. I mean, I'd love to go, but there's going to be stuff to cover out. We're going to have a camera set up. We're hoping to catch both Air Force One and Putin's Ilyushin plane when they land in the morning. I hear Putin's plane's coming around 11. I hear Air Force One's coming around 10 a.m. Let's go back to the, yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. It's, again, Jeff Landfield here in Anchorage, Alaska. I live here. This is where I've lived for the last 21 years. I run the Alaska Landmine. We've been covering this pretty aggressively on our social media. Go to the Alaska Landmine Facebook page or our Twitter page. We've had a lot of stuff. Если вы русский смотрите, большое спасибо. Мы завтра будем еще раз live и здесь, около здесь, в Anchorage. Вот это наш исторический summit. Президент Дональд Трамп и президент Владимир Путин, Российская Федерация. Это будет очень большой день завтра. Исторический день для Alaska и для мира. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I wish I could do the whole thing in Russian, but my Russian's, it's okay. It's not, I could not do the whole thing I just did for the last 20 minutes in Russian. It'd be a little challenging for me, but I do want to thank, если у нас русские люди смотрят, которые смотрят сейчас, большое спасибо. Завтра мы еще будем live здесь, Anchorage, на известный исторический summit между Vladimir Putin и Donald Trump. Thanks for watching, guys. We're going to be going live tomorrow. I really want to thank everybody. And it's going to be a big day. I think who knows what's going to happen, but the eyes of the world are on Anchorage, Alaska. And I think that's a great thing. Thanks.